Welcome back. This week I am going to show you how to modify last week's pattern to make a very different skirt. This is going to be a flowy skirt with an elastic band. So instead of there being a zipper in the back, this will just be elastic, either sewn to the skirt or in a band. So this is actually a very simple one to sew for any of you beginner sewers out there. So what we're actually going to do to start is we're going to open last week's, which is the A-line no darts. So just open, A-line no darts, open, perfect. Now I don't want to change the actual pattern. I want to use it to make a new pattern. So I need to hit File, Save As, and I'm going to call this Flowy Skirt with Elastic Waist. Enter. Okay, so now any changes we make will not affect the pattern we made together last week. It will create, this is an entirely new pattern now. So the first thing I want to do is go into details and delete all of this, just so I can start with a almost clean slate, nothing gets confusing or mismatched. Now I need to go into my measurements file, so measurements, open seamly me, and actually I'm going to hit edit current, because it should already be loaded with this A-line no darts that we made last week. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I don't want to change this measurement file. I want to use it to make a new one. So File, Save As, Flowy Skirt with Elastic Waistband. Again, always make these the same name. When you get 100 different patterns going, it's so much easier to find what you're looking for. Okay, so we are only adding one measurement, and it's a custom measurement. So hit Add Custom. And I'm going to highlight that, and then down here by the details, I'm going to hit this green arrow pointing down to push it all the way to the bottom. It needs to be below everything else because it's going to use one of these measurements. Technically, it just needs to be below the hip circumference. Alright, so this skirt needs to be, every single measurement in the skirt needs to be larger than the hip circumference, so that we can just pull it on with elastic. The hips, as long as it's the largest measurement. If for some reason someone has a different measurement that's larger than their hips, that needs to be this largest amount. Okay, so the largest amount, which for mine is my hips, again you can change this for people. In this name, I'm going to hit the X, and I am going to call this flow value. You can't do spaces in these, you have to underscore it. And then I'm going to put a formula in here, and so delete the 0, hit the F of X button. Now again, my biggest measurement is my hips. If it's something else for you, use that, and I'm going to hit divided by 4. Hit OK. Alright. And then we're just going to save that, and then I can exit out. Alright, so now we need to load the new one because otherwise the measurements file is still going off of last week's A-line skirt. We're going to hit measurements. I'm going to hit load individual. I need flowy skirt with elastic waistband, and now that updated measurement file is in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll up a little bit, and if you want, you can delete this top curve just so it looks a little cleaner. I like to do that. You don't have to, just so I can see a little bit better what I'm working with. Okay, so now the whole skirt again has to be bigger than your hips, or bigger than your largest measurement if you're going to be able to pull it on. So I'm going to start at the hips. Okay. So for this, my formula is over here that I'm working with. If you don't like to work in it in the tool options box, you can right click that point and hit options, and this will pop back up again. I'm just going to work on the right box. I'm going to hit the F of X next to my length, and instead of +3, I am going to have it plus the flow value. Hit OK. Bam, we have a way flowier skirt. And because we did our line correctly last week with the values, both skirts, the longer and the shorter, are adjusted off of this. Now we need to add flow in the rest of the skirt. So go up to the high hip is my next measurement, and I'm going to hit the F of X button, and I'm going to hit plus the flow value, but I only want it to be divided half of the flow value. I want it to get less flowy as we go up the skirt. Beautiful. So now this top measurement needs to be as big as my largest measurement. So down here, again in the measurement, I'm going to click on my waist. but then I'm going to hit F of X, and instead of waist circumference, I'm going to put my hip circumference because that's my largest part. If it's something else for you, make sure that's in there. And then I'm going to add at least 1 inch. If it's exactly my largest part, it is going to be tight, squeezing it over that. So I need a little bit of give, at least an inch minimum. Hit OK. And now we have this really flowy A-line skirt. This curve, I need a little more dramatic. Again, this line is based off of this line. So I'm going to grab this one, and instead of 3 inches, let's try 5. Beautiful. I'm happy with that curve. Alright, so now I have a curved skirt on the bottom that will definitely fit over my largest part. So now I need to make, and here let me zoom fit best so you can see that the bottom of the skirt kept up with it as well. And actually I am going to increase that. Let's try 6 inches. I want that to be about halfway. Oh, that's so much better, so much better. There we go. Alright, so I need to create the waistband now to attach to this skirt. What I'm going to do, let me zoom back in a little bit, and I want to be up here. I'm going to create a new pattern piece. And all I need to know is the length of this curve, A13, A11, and the distance between A13 and A10. I am not sure that that's already a line. We will find out in a second, otherwise I can show you how to add it. Alright, so I'm going to actually create a new pattern piece, and I'm going to hit Add Pattern Piece, or New Pattern Piece it says. So I'm going to say waistband. Okay. Zoom fit best. This point is way up here, that's too far away, so I'm going to click on that point, and in these arrows I'm going to bring it back by clicking the down button on the X, and then I'm actually going to bring it down a little bit on the Y by hitting the up button. Okay, that's much better. I'm going to zoom back into the waistband where I can actually see that now. There we go, that's much better. Okay, so I am going to click point at distance and angle, click my new point, which is B, because now we're in a new piece. So this whole piece is A, this whole piece is going to be B in the numbers. Go to the right. Now for my length, I'm going to hit F of X, delete all of that. I need the length of this curve, which is A11, A13. So click length of curve, and A13 to A11 is what I need. Now my waistband, I need it to go the whole way around me, and this is 1/4 of the way around me, so this needs to be times 4. Hit OK. The angle needs to be 0. Hit OK. Okay, if we zoom fit best, I have the whole waistband. If you want to use less paper when you print this, you can only multiply it by 2 and then cut on a fold, but that's up to you. Let me get back to where we were a second ago. Okay, so now I'm zoomed back in so I can see these numbers. I need to go up however tall I want the waistband. I can make it exactly this waistband if I want, but what you should really do is however wide the elastic is that you will put inside of it, do that width times 2 plus 1/4 inch. So for instance, if I have 1 inch elastic, I'm going to click at my point and angle, click B, go straight up 90 degrees. Okay, 1 inch elastic, 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1/4 inch, so 2.25 inches is how wide I want that to be. If you have 2 inch elastic, it needs to be 4.25. If you have 3 inch elastic, it needs to be 3.25, or 6.25. If you have 1.5 inch elastic, 3.25. You get this, you get it. So again, twice your measurement plus 1/4 inch. Alright, so now we just need to square it off. So I am going to go back to zoom fit best. Hopefully you can kind of see these points. I know they're quite into the distance. I'll zoom in as much as I can, but I do need to be able to see this whole piece right there. I'm going to hit this blocking it off point, or however we want to call this, squaring it off point from X and Y of 2 other points. I'm going to click as far to the side as I want to go, so this one. And then as tall as I want to go, which is this one, to square off my waistband. Alright, let's go ahead and start adding some of these pieces to work with. So in my detail button, we click this pattern with a plus sign, this workpiece tool, click that, and I'm going to counterclockwise work my way around the waistband, hit enter, and hit OK. That is now officially a pattern piece. Go back to draw. So now I need to go back to the skirt. I can't click on anything in the skirt unless I'm in the skirt pattern piece. So click on this pattern piece drop down and switch to the skirt. Alright, so I'm going to click on the workpiece tool. Again, I have to go clockwise. So click the curve. If you want, you can click the out point of the curve. You don't have to. Let's just do the knee length one again. Click the bottom curve. Didn't do anything. I'll click the outer point and then click the curve again. There we go. Now I know it's hit it. I'll hit enter. I need to fix this though. Okay, I do have this point twice, so I am going to delete one of them. And then I need this curve to go the other direction. Again, if you click it like this, that is what this pattern will look like in the next page. That's how it will print. So we need this curve to go the other way. Right click on it and hit reverse. Beautiful. Hit OK. Details. Zoom fit best. We have a waistband and our skirt. Alright, I'm going to post the link on how to add the seam allowances for this. You will want to add seam allowances on all four sides of the waistband. You will want to add seam allowances on the outside of this skirt, but on this center seam there needs to be no seam allowance because you're going to cut two of these on a fold. Okay, so cut two of this on a fold, cut one waistband. I hope you enjoyed this, and I cannot wait to see what you make. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can see more fun sewing ideas. Thanks, bye.